Shalom Chaverim, I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. And, friends, I'm sitting here and I've been watching on and off the impeachment hearings that are going on. And as I watch these things, I cannot help but think that the whole impeachment process is a staged event from the beginning. The reason I say that, if we look at the rest of the world, what's going on? If you take South America, for example, Bolivia, Venezuela, Chile, I mean, absolutely insane the violence that's going on in these countries here. Bolivia, the president tries to throw out the IMF, actually does throw out the International Monetary Fund. He gets rid of the Rothschild banking systems in their country, only to find themselves, being forced out by gunpoint and having to go to Mexico, either, retire somewhat peacefully or die. I guess that's the way it was supposed to be. Of course, the nation is probably one of the largest in the world in lithium reserves, as we had learned from the Boer family there. And then just saw this clip here on Twitter earlier, where in a church, let me just see if I can pull it up again real quick here, just so I can kind of share a little bit about this with you here. Yeah, here it is right here. This happened at a Catholic church in Nicaragua. A bunch of Marxist militants entered the Catholic cathedral in Managua, Nicaragua, desecrating it in a similar way to what has been reported in Chile. And a lot of these are just young kids and stuff. Finally, the priests kind of tried to fight back, and they just mobbed this guy and beat him half to death. Listen, I may disagree with the Catholic Church on principles. When it comes to scriptural things, I disagree with the Orthodox Jewish community and what they believe, the Talmudic ideology. But I do believe in freedom of religion. Everyone should have a right to believe and follow the dictates of their heart the way they see fit. And they should not be subject to violence or abuse or anything like that. But when I see things like this, I realize you got that. You have Paris, France. We have the unrest going on in a lot of other countries. Middle East, of course, naturally. Syria, war there. Iraq, all kinds of unrest. Now Iran, there's a lot of unrest and fighting and demonstrations going on there. You have Hong Kong. It's everywhere in the world, all through Europe, China, like I said, Paris, and places like that. And so when I look at this, I can't help but think that this whole impeachment idea is really just a charade. It's almost like the ones that are in power, both Democrat and Republican, I know they work together. Let's face it. Don't try to play the game. We know they all work together. But they have Trump do certain things, which obviously are stupid. And of course, the Republicans will say, well, he's only trying to drain the swamp over in Ukraine. That's Ukraine's business to drain their own swamp. And no, they're not draining the swamp. And just like they're not draining it here either. But they can cause the emotions of the American people to run so high, they're desperately trying to trigger some type of chaotic riots to break out in this nation. That's really what they're up to doing. When Obama was president, one of his Secret Service agents shared with me then that they had been looking for a way to get civil unrest in the nation in order to disarm the nation, to have a reason to disarm the nation. Israeli intelligence shared with me that they want to be able to cause a civil unrest in this nation so that we can run out of bullets on each other. And yet, oddly enough, everybody buys into this. That's why I said from the beginning, regardless of this offense over Ukraine, do I think the president should be impeached for it? No, you don't need to impeach. You only got a year left in office. People have a choice to vote. I mean, even the Republicans could choose a different candidate for president. Yeah, believe it or not, they could choose someone else to run for president. You don't always have to just everybody hurry up and say, yes, we want Trump. But no, I know there's a lot of evangelical support behind Trump because Trump has shown the unconditional support of Israel, regardless of all the crimes against the Bible itself that Israel is doing. I mean, face it, Prime Minister Netanyahu has broken practically every commandment there is, even within the 10 Commandments. Certainly doesn't love his neighbor as himself, doesn't keep the commandment, thou shalt not kill. Well, when it comes to homosexuality, certainly breaking that as well. I know that's not one of the 10 Commandments, but it is an abomination before God. Openly does that. Kills all the babies that they're allowed all the way up to a 9-month gestation period, 3rd trimester abortions there. That sounds more like, to me, when you're looking at Netanyahu, more like it was Herod, King Herod, in power in the Middle East, and it does, a true Bible-believing Jewish man. And I would have more respect from the Karaite Jewish community if they were running things in Israel. I don't think we would have all the violence and killing everybody off in the Middle East. In fact, that's another issue just popped up. Trump and Pompeo have now supported that Israel, this big move for Israel to be able to annex the West Bank. Yeah, more violence. It's exactly what they're calling for. Where does it ever end? Where does it ever end? I think, though, what we're seeing is going to come to our nation very, very soon. After all, that's what they're trying to do. And all this impeachment stuff, well, that's only the beginning. If that doesn't work, well, then they'll collapse the economy, and maybe that'll make people go berserk. Whatever they can do to get you to lose it, that's really the agenda. Well, as 97 just said, Agenda 2021. I guess that's the whole plan. At any rate, I do have in front of me some very good intelligence brief on the situation with ISIS and also with Iraq and Iran. And we're going to be going into this hopefully tomorrow. Just really been backed up with a lot of things there. I was really wanting to get into this issue more about the impeachment, mainly because Bill Clinton weighed in on it. He said, if I were the president, I'd tell the people I'm getting back to the people's work and let my attorneys handle all of this. I sit there and I think of myself listening to former President Bill Clinton say that, and then I couldn't help but think of Kathy O'Brien. Kathy O'Brien, who came out and exposed how she had been used as a sex slave and how that she indicted both Bill Clinton as abusing her as well as Hillary Clinton. And I was going to share some of that information with you guys, just so you can see. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Bill Clinton, he's the guy to be up there speaking like he's some great guy, and yet he's just as dirty hands as, of course, Trump does too. Wow. Anyway, I just thought I'd share some of these thoughts here with you. Anyway, blessings to you. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And we got a lot more teachings that we're going to be doing here. I'm going to try to get some of those over on Dunoon Institute. And I may end up sharing some of that stuff on Patreon that I was talking about just now when it comes to the impeachment and some of the thoughts that I have on that. Because that's some of that information, I'm surprised it's even on the internet. So maybe I'll share a little bit of maybe 20, 30 minutes of that over on Patreon tomorrow, so you guys can see that. Anyway, blessings to you and shalom in a world of ain shalom.